Today I'm going to show you how to make a fish out of clay. First, let's talk about your tools and supplies. You will be given a slab of clay, a flattened piece of clay, on a placemat. It's a canvas cloth. Please keep the clay on the canvas while you're working. In your tool bin, you have things like popsicle sticks, toothbrushes, pens that don't work. These are for drawing into the clay. You also have skewers with a pointy end, paper clips that are open. These can be handy to cut with, and toothpicks. Over here, we have the mixture of clay and water called slipped. That's what the toothbrush is for, to do your scratch and attach method. So you're using this slip anytime you want two pieces of clay to be joined together. And you have a small container of water. There's very little water in there because you only need a tiny bit on a finger if you happen to be needing to smooth something out if your clay looks rough. You don't want to add a lot of water ever because your clay will get muddy and very hard to work with. At your table, you also have a resource that shows you a fish I made out of Play-Doh for practice, some examples of some fins and other features of fish, and some different ideas for how to make coils for decorations. Instead of just making a simple coil, you can turn coils into spirals and arches and donuts and twist them and interesting things like that. And on the other side, you have more examples of some other fish that might give you some inspiration. This is the tracer you're going to be using. The pointy part is the mouth, so it actually goes like this. Find a way to get it to fit on your slab. You may have to turn it a little bit. And if a little bit hangs off the edge, it's okay. You don't have to push it on very hard. It's going to just sit there and it is ready to be cut out. I like to use the skewer for cutting, and I tend to like to start at the top and pull towards me when I cut. You can see that my tool, how it's standing up like a soldier. You actually want the tool to be in this position as you're cutting. You don't want to hold it like a pencil. You want to keep it upright and pull it towards you, and make sure that the tip of the tool is touching the table so that you know you are actually cutting through the slab of clay. Sometimes you'll get clay on the tip of your tool. Just take it off and put it on the side. Come back up to the top, keep cutting this way, and then finish. And so these pieces, if I move them out of the way, I'm not going to crumple them up into a ball because it's helpful to have them in this slab form right now. I pull the tracer off gently, and there's my fish. So this is a good time to use a tiny bit of water to smooth the edge if it's necessary. Again, not a lot. And if it doesn't need smoothed, then don't use any water. Any smoothing along the top you can do as well. Just a bit. Okay, so there is the basic shape of our fish. These pieces can be very handy for making fins. I'm going to need a fin on the side of the body, a tail fin, and I could have an extra little flipper down at the bottom if I choose to. So I'm going to start by kind of drawing the space where I know the head is going to be, and I know that that is in this area here. So I'm just going to gently draw a line. I'm not cutting through the clay now. I don't want to cut. That's why I'm using the pen, and I don't go very deep into the clay at all. Okay. So once I draw that, here's my mouth. I could draw a mouth. I could make a mouth out of a coil. It's really up to you. Just to be quicker in my demonstration, I'm just going to gently draw a mouth there. Okay. So as far as the tail fin, I think I'll use this kind of larger piece here. And what can be very handy for cutting a triangle for a fin is actually a popsicle stick. You don't hold it like this, you hold it like this. And when you push down into the clay, it gives you a really nice clean cut. And I kind of like that curve right there, so I'm not going to cut that away. I think it looks nice. This will be my tail, and I can put it right here. But before I add the tail, or maybe I want to cut that just a bit to make it flat like that. I've got to put my slip and my gentle scratches on both surfaces before I push them together. There's my tail. And I can make textures in my tail. I can draw lines on it gently with my pen. I can use tools to make it bumpy on the edge if I want. It's up to you how it's shaped. I think that's a pretty nice tail. Now for this part, I still have a triangle here and sort of a triangle here that I could work off of. That can fit there very nicely. Both sides are a little rough, so I might want to smooth it out just a bit along the edges and along the top. It's going to go about there. So again, scratches. You do not need a lot of slip. You don't want too much. It's going to get muddy, just like if you add too much regular water. You don't want a whole bunch of slip either. Gently push those together. I can shape it a little more, smooth it a little more, and draw textures in it if I'd like to. There's that one. If I wanted a little fin down here, I could use pieces like this. That could make a really cute little flipper. And again, you just scratch and attach it and put it in place if you choose to. As far as the eyes go, you can do one eye, you can do two and make it look sort of cartoony. And what I would do is I would take, now that I'm done with slabs, I can take the rest of my clay pieces and really push them together tight so I get rid of any air bubbles in there. And I can use this to make other features. Like if I want to make eyes, I could take some clay, roll it into a sphere. Doesn't have to be a perfect sphere. I can shape it with my fingers. I can cut it in half because I'm choosing to make two eyes and look kind of cartoony. And it's really handy because I have this flat side and this flat side, and those can go on the fish's head, and it's very easy to scratch. We'll put some stuff there and some on here. Push these together. Press down a little bit so they're not quite so round and high. And if I want to do an extra thing, something that's kind of fun, is I could take one of these beads and actually push into the eye gently and kind of twist it and then release it. It gives me a different type of eye. There's lots of ways to do eyes. That's just one. In this example, I made coil eyes and then I put a sphere in the center and used this tool to poke a hole in it. And you can see here, I used flattened spheres as decoration. I have drawn a fin at the top. So there are more things I can do to this one. I can draw the upper fin up here and make coils or just draw lines. I can put that down here too if I choose. If you want to make scales with a popsicle stick, it's really simple. You kind of hold it at an angle and you just gently press the tip of the popsicle stick, and that can give you a really fun texture. Just don't poke all the way through. Or if you have time and you're inspired by other types of textures, you can look at using coils. God damn it.